The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the April edition of 30 Minutes with Lynxspring. My name is Marc Petock. I'm Vice President of Marketing, and I am joined today by Robert Hirsch, Senior Vice President and COO of Lynxspring. We thank you for taking the time to join with us, and looking forward to introducing you to a new product and a new service offering that we are offering. A couple housekeeping items. We are indeed recording the webinar, and we'll make that link along with the deck available. In keeping with the theme, 30 minutes, as always, we want to keep this to a 30-minute time frame. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat function, and if we can get to them, we will. If not, feel free to email me, Marc, M-A-R-C, .Petock, P-E-T-O-C-K, at lynxspring.com, and we would be more than happy to provide answers to that, and we can also share those with all the folks who have registered to attend. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So to support the secure remote access and transfer of data among today's buildings, energy management systems, equipment, and machine-to-machine apps,
Someone's going to be up here.
we are pleased to introduce you to our new Onyxx C121 Cellular Router, E2E Private Wireless Network, and Easy Plan Service. So if we look at the marketplace, as far as the Onyxx and the E2E, many of you have heard that our initiative based in and around E2E, or Edge to Enterprise. And in keeping with this, we're continuing to accelerate the secure remote access of the devices that are out there, help with increasing the ease of data collection for smart systems, edge devices, intelligent equipment, and machine-to-machine apps. Also, as many of you already know, it's helping to assure buildings, the energy management, and the apps are connected and networked via another option, via cellular router, that is highly secured, high speed, high capacity, and a key to this, which Robert and I will touch on as we go through our presentation, a private cellular data network. So again, in introducing this, it's to remotely monitor and control the infrastructure for meters and pumps, valves, can be used in energy applications, and many other instances. Instantly connect the equipment and, for temporary installations or for troubleshooting. Provide a way for an isolated and secure access to the different assets within a building via a private network. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to the actual cellular router. Our name for it is the Onyxx CE 121 Cellular Router, and we purposely built this to support the secure remote access and data exchange for today's intelligent buildings, the energy management systems we have deployed out there in the marketplace, the machine-to-machine applications, and the entire IoT environment. It's very easy it's been designed for easy setup, installation, and commissioning. It comes with and includes a 3G cellular wireless modem, an interface that allows for instant communication upon startup, an Ethernet port accepting an RJ45 connector to wired TCP IP network, and the unit or the device, the router, has been approved for deployment by Verizon. I'm going to turn it over to Bob to chat a little bit about some of the specifications that we built into the modem.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Hello, everyone. The cellular router in itself, the core reason for the cellular router was that we found business partners and other customers that we deal with. They've been buying routers off the shelf or other means, and the difficulty that they've had in setting those up many times. Our initial goal was to make it an easy applicable cellular router with the following specifications. It is a 3G cellular router at this point. It is an EVDO or enhanced CDMA type modem supported by Verizon, tested by Verizon to their network. In the case of this modem, it operates in the following frequency ranges, 800 or 1900, thus fulfilling the CDMA type frequency ranges and 3G. You can see the following download and upload rates. The interfaces are through a browser supported by most browsers. I don't know if we exclude any specific browser at this point, but we've tested with most or all browsers that we know of with a 10/100 base T connection. There is currently one SMA female connector on the front of the router, of which you receive one, with the product, you receive one antenna, which is really a small gain, 6-inch antenna that is rotatable, and you can adjust it for that purpose. And if you need other antennas, there are antennas we can make recommendations to that give you higher gain access to the Verizon network. Okay, next please. Okay, protocols supported. Nothing really outstanding here. Like I said, we want to make this thing simple and easy to use. We don't profess it to be everything to all people for all purposes, but it is a remote access point, a secure remote access point. So you simply install it and it's a small footprint. The power requirements, we send you a wall wart with the product itself, but it is a 15-volt DC power supply. But if you're going to provide your own, you need a power supply with a barrel plug, anywhere from a range of 9 to 15 volts DC. Okay. Once again, these are specifications that come right from the router and the modem. Industry certifications and RF exposure are resultant from the Verizon certification and their test labs. The environmental conditions are a combination of what we've tested our platform in the past and other applications, and also what the minimum requirements or tested conditions were with the modem itself. The modem is a third-party provided product. We did not develop the modem itself directly. Thus, it has all the certifications and testings that we carry with it. Okay, we can move forward.
So I'm going to jump back in here for a minute, and Bob and I are going to be tag teaming just so that the audience knows. So really, to take full advantage of the router's capabilities, we developed in conjunction and in partnership with Verizon, what we're calling the Lynxspring E2E Private Wireless Network. And then adding to that private network is also a cellular data service to go along with that. So what we're offering and what we put together is a complete end-to-end solution from the router to the security of a private network, along with a very affordable cellular data service, which we are going to go into a little bit of detail towards the end of the presentation. So what is the Lynxspring E2E Private Wireless Network? It's what we've continually been saying, and we want to make sure the audience truly understands. It is truly highly secured, high speed, high capacity, and very important segregated cellular wireless private network. We did develop it in conjunction with Verizon, has been designed for data traffic only, and a key difference with some of the networks that are out there today with both voice and data is that this is a non-public facing private network. It keeps the data protected and isolated, and in doing so, you avoid the inherent risk of unsolicited traffic, malware, viruses, and things that we all are accessible to when utilizing and transmitting and exchanging data over a public network. Currently, as Bob mentioned, we're currently supporting 3G. We are working to further extend this network to include 3G extended and 4G cellular as well. We use the industry standard Ethernet communications over, again, I can't reiterate enough, the private network, where you're assured of the speed and the reliability and the geographic coverage of Verizon, which is one of the industry's leading providers in and around, especially the secured infrastructure. Again, different from a public network, this is a non-public facing network built, designed, and for use for data traffic only. And it is also trusted whereby the private static IP only addresses will work. Just touching on some of the other benefits of the network and what it brings to the market: security, economies of scale, higher capacity at a lower cost rate, which we're going to touch about in a few minutes, the reliability, the enhanced access and coverage, redundancy, built on a proven technology, it allows for fast and easy deployment. There's greater bandwidth, no time sharing, which we'll talk about here coming up. Gives you the opportunity for better control, also to be able to customize things in and around your particular needs, and comes with the high uptime, network availability, and most importantly, automatic backup should, in those rare occasions where there may be a issue with the network, or it does happen. So as I mentioned, so that's the second leg of the offering. We've got the router, we've got the network. Now, Bob is going to talk to you a little bit about the cellular service that we specifically have put together, designed for this, and again, in keeping the needs and the requirements of the industry we are all in to make this something that is, we truly think it's, you're going to like it, and it's unique in the marketplace.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Back to my original comments earlier was the focus, Lynxspring's focus on developing a cellular router that is easy, a cellular router plan that is easy, and maintaining simplicity throughout. We think we've achieved that. As far as the data plan is concerned, there is just one plan. We offer just one plan, so it's Can't get any easier than that. You only have one choice. It should fit, we believe, in a multitude of applications and situations. For instance, it can support one router, or it can support tens of thousands of routers in one single plan. Each plan includes 1 gigabyte of data. Okay? It is, now you're saying, well, if I use more than 1 gigabyte, do I get overage charges and so on and so forth? No, there is no such thing as overage charges. We have, in addition to the 1 gigabyte that's included in the plan, incremental data usage rates. And as the plan is value is one thing, the usage rates are another. Okay, and the more usage or the more data or usage you consume, the lower the cost per gigabyte it is. So we'll get into that in a little bit. There's no restrictions, like I said. One plan, one router, or many routers. You could seriously have 100 routers out there not using any data, or less than 1 gigabyte of data. You're being charged for 1 gigabyte or for the plan. Okay, so let's go on here. So scalability, as I was saying, the scalability of the single plan. That being said, a customer or a client or end user of yours may wish to have multiple plans just to segregate out his customers. That's okay too. You can have one plan or multiple plans. However, a router is assigned to a single plan. You don't share plans amongst routers. I don't want to get too complicated there, but again, a single plan, one to many routers, as many as you can have. Cost effectiveness, I don't know what the next screen, if it shows any kind of pricing or anything, but we are getting, I want to share with you the cost. The cellular plan is $25 per month. That is billed to you on a monthly basis. The usage rates that are engaged after the 1 gigabyte of the original plan is consumed then starts to be invoiced the following month, of which if you go over 1 gigabyte, the next data up to 10 gigabytes is $20 per gigabyte. From 10 to 100 gigabytes is $15 per gigabyte. 100 to 1,000 gigabytes, I believe, is at $12.50 per gigabyte. If you're consuming more than 1,000 gigabytes in a month, we just ask you to call Lynxspring, and we certainly can address your needs probably on a more specific basis. The wonderful thing about working with Verizon here is that we are able to create a single simple plan, and they understand our business. They're also open to consider unique situations. So the simple single plan should work 99% of the time. If it doesn't, please give us a call. Again, easy setup. Imagine this, you need to get a cellular router on a site. You order the cellular router. You tell us the IP address of the device you want to get connected to, or devices. You could even tell us the ports that you want to connect to, and we could set that up. You could literally walk into the building, hang it on the wall, power it up, and be communicating. Okay? That's how simple we think it can be. Tier 1 support, yes, we provide you all the Tier 1 support when you're using our cellular service. That being said, cellular routers, yes, our cellular router has a Verizon modem on it, and if you have a Verizon plan that you use, our cellular router could work on that plan. But we would not support a third-party plan. Security, including encryption, yes, the data that is transferred from the cellular router through the private network is encrypted. There can be data transfer is incoming and outgoing. You can set it up for both. So you can have remote access through the cellular router, and also you can set it up so that the cellular router will allow devices to send messages or alarms or data to another entity. Okay? Early termination fees, none. We don't have any early termination fees. What we do have that might relate to is an activation. Cellular routers have to be activated on a plan. And for cellular routers to be active, you agree to a 12-month activation of the units, and those are $5 per month per router. So if you have one router, you'll be charged $60 right up front for the year. That covers you for 12 months of activation. If you have 10, then it's the 60 times 10. Then, because it is a simple plan, the cellular routers, one to many, you're all using this. You're aggregating your data, so you're not getting overages or anything. You're just moving into the next usage range, which starts at 1+ gigabytes to 10, and then from 10 to 100, and then from 100 to 1,000. And the rates that I shared with you before, again, I'll repeat it. From 1 to 10 is $20 per gigabyte. From 10 to 100 is $15 per gigabyte. And from 100 to 1,000 is $12.50 per gigabyte. And like I said before, again, if you're over 1,000 gigabytes in any month and you want to have get some other details for your needs, please give us a call.
And wanted to just echo a point here, the fact that the plan is flexible and simple, and there's one plan, is there may be a month where you go over that 1 gigabyte of data, but then the next month you don't, and the next month after that, you're not paying that extra for that usage that you're not using, so to speak.
Right.
So I think that's an important point here to remember that it is simple, but yet it's got scalability and flexibility in it to be able to change and adapt to the specific data needs that you are experiencing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, to Mark's point, it's scalable, but not dynamically scalable from month to month. You don't pay for data that you don't use. You're not buying a 100 gigabyte plan and paying for a 100 gigabyte plan. That's a traditional method. You are paying for what you use when you use it, and it doesn't extend beyond that usage. If it changes the next month, your invoices, your billings change with your usage. All right, is there a next screen, please?
Yeah, so now what we're going to do is we want to give you a peek into logging on to the router and setting up the service a little bit. Just touch on a few easy points here. And so what we've got here, and again, Bob and I are going to tag team. So this is where we've installed a router out there. We've deployed it, and this is your welcome screen, just to begin setting up the service and the router itself.
Okay. Yeah, and again, what we want to demonstrate here is that on the top bar, there's a home, a device setting, define routes, and a help. There's 4 screens to this thing. Home is information only. If we go to the next page here, we'll see a device. Oh, sorry. From the home page, you can actually download or upload the user guide in a PDF version. So this thing goes through the complete details of what a user might want to reference to. So that information is available right from the device itself. You don't have to download it from anything else. So if you go to the next page, this is the device settings screen, and this is really setting up the router itself. So you got a host name, the DNS domains, and if it's DHCP enabled, its IP address, so on and so forth. On the very bottom, what's important here is the cellular router information. That is the IP address that is given to that modem to be available on our network. Okay, so that is really something you're not going to change. So if we move forward to the next screen, now this is where you define your routes. Like I was saying before, if you gave us information of the TCP/IP address of the router that you need for the remote location, If you gave us the IP address of the device, in this case 192.168.147 of the device you want to tunnel to, and it's public-facing or private-facing ports, the public port, as we call it here, we're going to change that name because it's really not public. It's what's the VPN-facing port. We simply put in the cellular router IP address and URL, and you address what port ID you want it, and that will get you to that device. So that's as easy as it gets. You're literally, if you gave us this information when you ordered the unit, we could set this up, and like I was mentioning before, hang it on the wall, power it up, connect it, and you could be remotely accessing your devices or buildings, whatever it is you need to get access to immediately. So here's how you add. So you can have multiple devices with multiple port definitions. So that 3 boxes, I think we can all understand this. We put in our VPN-facing ports, our IP address of the device, and the port of the device that relates to that VPN-facing port. Okay, I don't want to get too complicated on this, but we hope that this is easy enough to understand in this short 30 minutes going on to maybe 31. Now, it is a private network. So private and secure private networks allow us to create security in this product. As we know, security in many ways requires multiple layers of access. Yes, you have to log into a private VPN, all right? This is the private network. So you will be given a username and password and access to your specific IP addresses of routers, okay? So you will have access to your products through your VPN, and then you have to know the IP address to log into or get access to the end devices. Pretty simple stuff here, username, password. You will be given that when you set up an account with Lynxspring. Just more of the same. You click here to continue, and then whatever type of computer or OS you're using at the time you want to log in as. All right?
That concludes today's webinar. I do have one question that has come in, and the person asking the question is, can you talk about device pooling again? Well, essentially what that is, again, you can have multiple routers on the same service, and that router A, for example, along with router B, C, and D, will pool the data together as one. It looks like it's actually one data pool instead of each router. You have to pay for the service plan for each router and get that 1 gigabyte of data. So again, you can have one router or many routers included into the plan, and all of the data from all of those routers are pulled together and viewed as one data stream or data pool, if you will.
All right. You get charged if you have one plan,
right,
and you use 1 gigabyte or less. That plan costs $25 no matter how many routers you have accessing that 1 gigabyte.
Okay. Another question that came in, can it be used in Canada?
The answer to that question is no. Not at this juncture. There are technicalities, especially with Rogers and how they manage their networks as opposed to what Verizon requires it to be used. So no, not available in Canada right now.
All right. Another question here is has to do with the Jace or Jenny. Can the router send? No, but there's another one there. Let's scroll back up a little bit. There you go. Can I use the email service from a Jace with this?
Absolutely. It is a router. You should be able, when you're setting up the Jace, if you know the host or the service you're sending your email service to, it should be virtually invisible to you that there's a router in place once you make that connection.
We have time for one more. Can the router send traffic to external networks?
External networks. Well, it can send traffic to external devices that are collecting data, or you're collecting messages, alarms, alerts, those types of things. I'm not exactly sure what an external network might be, but a network in our case, in this scenario, is our private network. Yes, you can send items beyond that private network if you need to.
Yeah, and the person who asked that question, if you want to email marketing@lynxspring.com or marc.petock@lynxspring.com, we'd be happy to have a further conversation so we can get your specifics so we can answer it. One last one, and then we're going to wrap it up for sure. Can this be rail mounted?
Yes, it's been rail mounted. It is, the router is actually in the form factor that, if some of you have been familiar with our other Onyxx products, that form factor has a horizontal and vertical option for DIN rail mounting.
All right, well, again, on behalf of everyone at Lynxspring, we want to thank you for joining us for the April edition of 30 Minutes with Lynxspring. And our next one is scheduled for May, and they always occur, same time, same place, 12 o'clock Central Time, and this one will be on the third Wednesday in May. So again, thank you, and we appreciate your attendance, and have a great day.